here's Michael Oren, who is a Israeli legislator, ex-American Zionist propagandist, who's a fairly well-informed figure in Israel, who would, I think he's in the opposition, I think, but sort of in the center of Israeli politics. But you can sense from him a little bit of anxiety about where things are going. He says there's tremendous admiration for our armed forces, but this country is at the tail end of 20 months of war. Pain, exhaustion, and uncertainty define Israeli society right now, and we'll have to hold out for who knows long. So, I mean, Israel obviously is not able to withstand the kind of punishment populations in the region have become accustomed to from Israel. Its population demands a first world European lifestyle in the heart of an area that they consider to be barbaric. If that changes, I mean, there could be a level of deterrence established without a mushroom cloud. And there are some indications that without the kind of U.S. assistance that Netanyahu is demanding, that they could kind of be left out on their own a little bit here. It really is a question of how many ballistic missiles Iran has, how long it's able to sustain the tempo.
Right.
Israel's announced, the IDF has announced that it's expecting a new wave Saturday night of missiles. Yeah. And I mean, you look at the Israeli reactions, this is something like people in Gaza have been experiencing again and again. But the reaction from the beginning is so much more stoic. And this guy who sounds like a Eurotrash trance DJ. Well, I'm not even getting the sound. Start over. It always starts with that.
Okay. That's amazing.
Yo.
אני בהלם. Yo. אני בשוק.
Yo. That's her favorite thing to say. Yo.
אני fucking בשוק.
Yo. That was like the most Israeli reaction ever. Yo.
Okay.
Ani shok. Someone should remix that. There should be an EDM remix of that.
Yeah, he can't believe it. I thought we were untouchable. That's his reaction, basically, the translation. I didn't know this was possible. I don't advocate. I'm not celebrating violence or advocating for civilians to be in danger or be killed. Absolutely not. But these people need to experience pain and suffering. Otherwise, they just export that everywhere. Last night, people in Gaza got some relief, much needed relief. They're looking up in the sky and they're joyful, not because they want to see other people die, but because it's not them being blown up. That reaction needs to be all over the country.
Well, in order to stop them. They also continued to be slaughtered in Gaza. However, the Israeli military has downgraded Gaza now to a second level conflict, and because it has to reappropriate resources to Iran.
Right. And also because their famine is doing the job for them. They already have their plan of starving people to death, forcing them to the south. And eventually they'll have their ISIS goons, their PA intelligence affiliated goons help dump them into Egypt. So their Gaza plan is already well completed, and it's just a matter of making the decision.
So really important to stress that the massacres in Gaza are continuing, and they're continuing against people as they're trying to seek aid from the fake Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, the Israeli intelligence front, that pretty much every day uses this fake aid distribution to kill people. And there was another one just in recent hours. I mean, and the atrocities are so many that it's impossible to keep track of all of them, but that is continuing. I want to read you guys something from David Ignatius of the Washington Post, just to give people an idea of the kind of propaganda we're going to be facing over this next period as warmongers try to manufacture consent for the U.S. getting even more directly involved in attacking Iran than it already is. This is from David Ignatius of the Washington Post, and this is what he writes. This is just out of the Iraq WMD playbook, literally. Iran has other means to hit back. One that has received little attention is Iran's relationship with al-Qaeda affiliates. According to former U.S. counterterrorism officials, Tehran has built good relations with the new de facto al-Qaeda emir, Saif al-Adel, who took over in 2023 after Ayman al-Zawahiri was killed. These former officials say Adel helped manage WMD planning for Osama bin Laden. The al-Qaeda affiliate in Yemen might pose a special danger. It's headed by someone who's posted a chilling video this month threatening U.S. officials. So this is literally the Iraq WMD playbook, where we're going to now accuse Iran, which has fought al-Qaeda for a very, very long time, especially inside Syria. Iran now being in league with al-Qaeda.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're going to say whatever they need to in order to demonize Iran and justify what else they want to do, right?
This is a statement that just came out, reported by Trey Yingst, who blocked me because I exposed him for participating in the Al-Shifa hospital scam, along with Jonathan Conricus, the Israeli army propagandist who puts the con in Conricus. And now Conricus is furious at Trey Yingst because Yingst has started to become kind of a straight shooter and actually report the news.
Well, I don't know if you remember, shortly after October 7th, he had a Clarissa Ward-like performance. I don't know if you recall that, where they supposedly found a Hamas militant, and he was like, we're getting this on camera. They just captured him. And then a couple seconds later, the same guy they supposedly captured is coming back up and changing his clothes. So
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, a choreographed Clarissa Ward type performance, and yet people keep, presenting Trey Yingst. He blocked me as well, as if he's like this, straight edge journalist who's just trying to do the right thing. I think he's trying to repair his image.
Definitely. Yeah, he's in Operation Damage Control here because he wants to be back on the side of people outside of the Zionist death cult, which is narrowing. Here's what he says, though. I mean, it's basically sourcing Israeli officials who talk to Fox News. Israeli officials believe the conflict with Iran could be finished in days if our operations continue at this pace. I think we can finish it in days. It's a good thing that we have the U.S. by our side, said a senior Israeli intelligence official. The next few days are expected to be intense, with ongoing missile barrages from Iran and extensive Israeli strikes against various locations in Iran. Israel's home command has also announced missile barrages from Iran have just been initiated. So this looks like, I mean, not making any predictions, but it looks like Israel is using its U.S. media to kind of set a very short time frame. But at the same time, Netanyahu has said this could go on for weeks. And if Iran manages to achieve more results, I think in what's like emerging as a war of cities, a new war of cities, lots of casualties, for example, which Jewish Israelis are just not able to withstand, then I think that could extend the war. And Israel has breadth, not depth. It cannot it cannot drag a war out like this for very long with Netanyahu in such a politically precarious situation. So I think they would like to wrap this up and claim that they have taken out more high-level IRGC commanders and claim that they took out nuclear facilities. But it's very interesting to me that they're already kind of setting such a short time frame.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how they've been trying to sell this war from the beginning, that this isn't going to drag U.S. troops in. It would just be a quick, like, 10-hour bombing run, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know. I mean, I don't want to just assume it's propaganda. I mean, Israel has proven, that they're resourceful and they're creative and they're backed by the most powerful empire. I don't know how Ritter could suggest that their missiles are limited. I mean, they've been bombing Gaza relentlessly. They'll get whatever they want from Trump and the United States. And, people have been saying for years, Ukraine is running out of artillery. Ukraine is running out of artillery. And yeah, they have a shortage, but they're still fighting after all these years. And it's because the West can just keep giving them and giving them and giving them. So I don't want to make it seem like they're invincible, but they have a lot going for them. And so, yeah, I don't, it could be nonsense, but could also, there could be some validity there.
I mean, it's impossible to make this assessment. I would rather ask an Iranian with better connections, who's better sourced within the establishment. But it's always tough to get a candid answer as well. What would it take for Israel to achieve its ultimate objective of regime change and putting in the new clown Shah, the fail son, to sell off the country to Israel in the West and initiate some gigantic region-wide Abraham Accords? I mean, what would it actually take? We walked the streets of Iran. I spoke to people from all sorts, all backgrounds, partly because everybody wanted to talk to me in the street. And there was a lot of discontent, but it's the same kind of discontent I get in the US with the government. I mean, everyone has some harsh critique of the government or some kind of grievance of the economy. One group of people I talked to said they wanted the Shah back, but they were getting all their news, they told me, from Iran International. But that was sort of an outlier. People just want some economic relief. And a lot of the harsh criticism I would hear of the government would come from people who are supportive of the Islamic Republic and supportive of the revolution and very proud of Iran's foreign policy. So what would it actually take? And, I think just it would take some color revolution. And you can see with Netanyahu's message, he delivered a message to Iranians, which Jake Tapper played promptly as soon as Netanyahu rolled it out on CNN, and probably went out on CNN International. But Jake Tapper was like, Netanyahu coming up. Netanyahu has a message for the Iranian people. Like, it's some important thing to play. And then you can see the lower level propagandists. What's that lady with the German name who looks so indigenous to the region? Emily Schrader. She just delivered a message to Iranians. They're all putting out these messages because I think they're recognizing regime change might not come through a military solution. It's going to have to come from below.
Yeah. Well,
they're going to keep bombing civilian sites. Like, they've started attacking the gas fields today. The aim of this, I mean, so much of the discontent you heard, a lot of it is, not entirely, but a lot of it is fueled by the sanctions that are designed to make life miserable for ordinary people. That's, Max, you had the article a few years ago reviewing Richard Nephew's book, a former U.S. official who helped design the sanctions, and he bragged about how his whole job was to make life miserable for ordinary civilians. He
actually said one of his greatest achievements was reducing the amount of chicken available on Nowruz.
There you go, a holiday, right? A major holiday in Iran, and he even also admitted that the goal was to make ordinary civilians feel the pain, not even Iranian elites who can still afford to buy the things they need. He said the goal was that basically the policies targeted ordinary people. So they're going to deepen that by attacking civilian infrastructure. And who knows with Israel, what, if anything, is off the table. I mean, are they going to start going after hospitals in Iran the way they do in Gaza? That's the playbook they pursued in Gaza to make life unlivable there. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see Israel, attacking militarily what the U.S. has already been attacking economically, going after civilian infrastructure even more than they started doing. And then beyond that, they also have the MEK, which they've armed, and I'm sure the MEK has been primed to, like the MEKs that whatever you want to call them, a marginal dissident group inside Iran that is backed by the U.S.
or outside, or
outside. Okay, but they claim to, so groups like that, I mean, they'll try to pursue a Syria dirty war strategy, use proxies to fight for them, because they're not going to. I do not see the U.S. sending in ground troops. I mean, Trump might be really delusional, but I don't think he's that insane. So I think that's the playbook.
Yeah, I agree. They're turning up the heat. This military campaign is really just to add fuel to the fire. That's it. They're going to try to add more sanctions, take out their ability to produce money by taking out the oil and gas fields. There's Balochi rebels that they could, instigate with, and there are a significant amounts of people in Iran that are unhappy. I think hopefully this backfires, this military campaign, because I wonder if, Iranis see dead children in the rubble and still support the idea of a potential, regime change revolution. Hopefully they don't, because I think Irani people, the ones I met, were incredibly patriotic, and maybe they don't like the government, but do they want to destroy and weaken Iran as a whole? Like, a lot of people were, and you saw this on X, there were people who were against the government, but that were still insulted by Trump calling the Persian Gulf the Arab Gulf. So,
yeah,
there could be an element of like pride and morale that is increased by these attacks, hopefully. But one thing that Israel did to Hezbollah, and I mentioned this to you already, Max, but their logic was they have their own spies embedded in the organization. They decapitate, and then those people move up, because you have to promote people from below. And so they could be doing the same thing in Iran. They take out these generals, and now you have a mass promotion at a time where they already don't know who to trust, but you have to elevate people. So you start elevating people, and some of them could be, compromised. And those are the kinds of people that have to decide whether you want to keep fighting or not. So with Hezbollah, I'm not suggesting the new leader of Hezbollah is compromised, but Hezbollah went from, we are not engaging in a ceasefire until you stop what you're doing in Gaza, to ceasefire, retreating behind the Litany River. Israel continues to do whatever they want in Lebanon. And we were told that, Hezbollah is just agreeing to a ceasefire to fight at a later day. But now they're not even able to contribute and help Iran, which is what the point of Iran's support for them was in the first place. So major changes. And so that could be what Israel's trying to do, is turn up the heat, but also, have their spies get a chance to be elevated and promoted into decision-making positions within the IRGC and other places. That's a possibility.
Yeah, I don't know if that's, I have no idea if that's taking place, but there is precedent, just the penetration we saw inside Lebanon, but also the War of the Spooks that took place in the 1970s, in which Israel initiated a process of assassinating PLO officials, going after, and PFLP, but going after intellectuals, figures that were considered the most capable and also the most militant, like Hassan Kanafani, Abu Iyad, then Abu Jihad, and there was use of Palestinians. Abu Nidal was likely a Mossad agent who was killing PLO officials. And what it looked like was, what they were doing was they were working their way to, they failed to get Arafat, but they were working their way towards an Abbas-like figure through Oslo and assassinations in order to basically reach an end of the conflict. What they didn't gamble for was the rise of Hamas. So there could be, something short of regime change that they're angling for with Iran through a long process of assassination and weakening the society. There's, clear evidence of Mossad penetration in Iran. Israel's claimed that they set up this secret drone base. This is coming out of, from the Iranian intelligence apparatus, that they have arrested a Mossad agent who is carrying suicide drones inside Iran. This was yesterday. This is going around everywhere. So it's sort of an admission that, there's penetration. You go to Iran and it's like, it's not this, it doesn't feel like this hyper controlled police state. It's chaotic. Their cities are huge. It's, Israel is a much smaller, close-knit place surrounded by walls and frontiers and electronic surveillance, heavily militarized frontiers and electronic surveillance. And, the population is much more successfully indoctrinated inside Jewish Israeli society through the Israeli military. So it's harder for a foreign intelligence agency to get in there and recruit people. In Iran, right, much easier. So what will it take for regime change? I think there are a lot of scenarios, but obviously Israel has there's no scenario I can see in which Israel will face some reduction in its weapons supplies, or the Trump administration stating, hey, we're not going to send you spare parts for your F-15s, your F-18s, and so on, your F-35s. We're sick of this. You need to do a ceasefire in Gaza. I see no scenario in which the Trump administration does anything material to stop the chaos. The best that can be hoped for is what the American conservative is calling for, the Kurt Mills crowd, which is that the U.S. just doesn't get directly involved. And they're all under attack from the neocons. But, you know, you can see how far the goalposts have been moved from an arms embargo on Israel to just the U.S. not supporting Israel in a regional war directly.
Yeah.